Hi, good morning from a very cold and stunning Isle of Skye. I want to show you in this video 4 locations that I've visited in my short stay here. And I'm going to do the Old Man of Store tomorrow, all being well if we have a nice sunrise. I want to show you the 4 that I've been to so far. I'm just going to do them in chronological order because they're all so stunningly beautiful. And I think the kind of cliche I've come up with is that Skye has a whole lot more than just the man of store. I apologise for my pathetic attempt at poetry there, by the way. I'm actually today at the Quiraing. So that's my location number 4. What I will be doing, I'll walk you through the 3 locations that I really love. I've been to numerous. This island is stunning. It's just so worth a visit. If you haven't been here before, if you have been, I'm sure you know already, but if you haven't been, hopefully these photographs and images will inspire you to actually come and visit the Isle of Skye. So as I walk the trail here at the Quiraing to the viewing spot that I scoped out last night, the first location I want to cover is Talisker Bay. Absolutely stunning. There is a waterfall that falls off of the cliff face on the right hand side, not directly into the sea, but it falls onto the rocks beneath, just on the shoreline. It just really is amazing. And so I managed to capture them, and it was really stormy the day we were there. So the wind was blowing straight on shore, blowing the waterfall up the hill. There was one small waterfall that never actually hit the ground. It just looked like a steam vent of some sort. The beach itself is covered in amazing ripples as the water leaves the shoreline and falls back down with the dark and the lighter coloured sands making some fantastic patterns. And also there's a small rock formation on the left hand side where it's just broken away, so you get like a sea stack just on the other side of the waterfall. So I can't recommend this place enough, but of course the key tip there is check the tide tables. It's very much about going at low tide so that you can get the actual patterns in the sand, and also, more importantly in my mind, the actual reflections as the water recedes. Absolutely, it is beautiful. Please check out this gallery and hopefully this will inspire you. And if you do have any questions, please remember to drop them in the comments down below. I always respond to comments. And if you have a favourite as well of not just this location, but the upcoming locations, please let me know.
This image shows the vista from the beach towards the waterfall captured at low tide. The best time to go here is definitely low tide or when the tide is going out to get these reflection shots. And changing position provides opportunities to get different reflection styles, here using waves to enhance the waterfall. And here I've moved again to get some foreground ripples within the reflection of the sea stack. And finally, in this location, I'm using the textures in the sand to provide foreground interest and leading lines.
And if you find anything useful in this video or find any other pictures inspirational, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to comment below with your favourite image and any questions you may have on how I captured these images. And I do hope that you enjoyed that gallery of Talisker Beach. I think when I was there, the conditions were absolutely perfect. Next up on my list is the fairy pools, which I wasn't too sure about. They're quite touristy. There's a path up at least half of the pools, but the scenery is absolutely stunning. And I'd done a bit of research, but it implied it's best to go on a very sunny day. Well, actually, I was there on a really overcast day, a lot of showers moving through the valley, and the mountain peaks were in the clouds all day. But actually, so the pools, they were a little bit blue in places, but not so. But just the scenery, the context, the storminess of the skies really, really made it fantastic for me. Again, I think definitely a place I need to go back to on a clear blue sky. This path is harder than I thought it was going to be. Before we get on to the gallery, just a few tips. I think because it's so well populated in terms of visitors, that is, I would use it and go as early as you can. I was there probably about 8 o'clock onwards and there was pretty much nobody there. Having said that, when I was leaving about half 11, 12, There were a lot of people, but you can still get photographs with nobody on. Just be careful scrambling down to some of the pools and the stream side. It is a little bit slippy, so just be careful, but it is absolutely amazing to see in the context of the mountains. It's not really for me about the pools, it's about the whole of the scenery. So please do enjoy this gallery of the fairy pools, and then I'll be back with you for number 3.
Here we have an initial view of the river as the falls leads us into the mountains beyond. In this image, the colour of the water comes out nicely and the composition shows the scale of the scene before us. And here we get a sense of the motion of the cascades in the river set nicely against the mountain backdrop. I don't think there could be a bad weather day here for photography. The clouds add drama to the scene and the blue colour of the water still comes through. And here I stitched 2 images to get a panorama of the scene, creating a different angle. I'm not 100% happy with this, so this gives me an excuse to return. I was fascinated by the way the water came through this gap in the rocks, creating a plaited look as the 3 flows merge and the tumble into the pool. And not to forget some close-ups of the water flows, creating new wave patterns in the water over the rocks.
And I hope you enjoyed that gallery of the fairy pools there, and gives you some inspiration, some ideas, not just for that location, but also for other similar locations. And number 3 on my list is Neist Point. We had a most spectacular sunset, and then the morning after we walked down to the lighthouse itself. It was beautiful, it really was. The sun was just peeking through the clouds with this amazing orange glow to the west behind the clouds. Made for an absolutely captivating picture. And as the rain showers moved through, because we've had a lot of rain and a lot of wind, as the rain showers moved through, it became just this really atmospheric scene as we looked out over the lochs and sea to the Isle of Neist on the other side. Absolutely amazing. So this is my 3rd. I would recommend that at any time of day, particularly sunset though, because it's west facing. Absolutely fantastic location. So just please enjoy this gallery, and I will then capture some images of the Quiraing. It looks like it's not going to be a great sunrise. It's quite grey, but it's always a photo opportunity. And then what we'll do on the other side of this gallery, we'll talk a little bit more about the Quiraing. Now I'm pretty much at the spot that I scoped out yesterday.
This is the classic view of the lighthouse set on the end of the peninsula taken from the cliff tops. And as I waited for sunset, the clouds started to create some great formations on the horizon, with the odd rain shower moving through too to create atmosphere. And these were particularly spectacular on the horizon as the sun began to set, creating amazing panoramas over the distant islands, and superb light and sun rays breaking through the clouds onto the sea and islands. And at times creating an impression that the island was on fire as the light hit the rain from behind. And in the morning, walking down to the lighthouse created some different perspectives of the landscape for us. And the fulmars did not disappoint in their cliff nests as they flew by. This was a great scene to photograph the nesting seabirds on the peninsula and to capture images of them in flight in front of the cliffs and above the sea.
So I'm at the viewpoint that I wanted, which let me spin you around really quickly and I'll try and explain what it is that I'm going to capture. So you can see I've got it, it's pre-sunrise still, although the sun's going to come up behind those big grey clouds on the horizon. But you can see the landscape. We've got the footpath leading up, which will come into play on some of the images. We've got the amazing rock formations on the skyline. The sun should, in theory, come up right over there, over the Scottish mainland. But I don't think that's going to happen. And then we've got some beautiful rock structures just here. And then if I spin around a little bit more, we've got the road that leads up, the single track road. Let me just bring you down just a little bit so you can see that. We've got the single track road that leads up the hillside, up to the car park at the top. So it's easily accessible. And then you've got these 2 lakes with more of the mountains. absolutely stunning, the sheer faces. So all being well, fingers crossed, we'll get a really good sunrise. In terms of equipment that I'm using today for lenses, I've got the Canon R7, so that's the normal one for me. I've got the Canon 10-18 for the super wide angle, and honestly at the moment I've got a 24-240. That gives me really great range, because what I also want to do, I want to be zooming in on some of those landscape features. I don't just want the massive aspect of the landscape. So I want to be able to close in on what's really important in this particular scene. And what I'll do as well is, after I've shot at this particular location, which is my chosen one, I'm going to capture some on the way back. I've already pointed out the tree, but there are other angles to get some of these scenes as well. So I'll be capturing a series of images on the way back, which I'll include in the gallery. Oh, one thing worth noting, I do have a new filter which I've bought. Although I use circular polarizing, I've now got myself a 0.9 grad circular so that I can just darken that sky out a little bit as well. Found that really useful on locations, especially Talisker Beach, which I mentioned earlier. Not Talisker Beach, Talisker Bay, which I mentioned earlier. Absolutely essential piece of kit, actually. I didn't think that it would be with a circular polarizing kit, but I'm finding it absolutely essential in these conditions. Okay, well, the sun has officially risen now. As you can see, it's still grey over there, but there's been some beautiful skies over us. Not as red and orange as I would have wished for, but you can see this just started to catch the peaks of the mountains in the background. Makes for some fantastic images. So I'm going to go and do some investigation. I think we've missed the best of the sunrise, although it has made for some stunning atmospheric cloudy shots and some images, especially as it's now capturing the mountain tops in the distance as it gets a little bit higher and breaks through the clouds. And I don't know if you can see it behind me, but this has just been used for filming. The land behind me on the actual top of the cliff there, this really wrecked. You can see where they've driven vehicles over it, and they've just been filming the latest, though, the remake of Highlander. So they've been using the Quiraing as the backdrop. They've been using a lot of Skye recently. All I can say is they've got a lot to live up to, because I really, really love the original Highlander with Christopher Lambert in it. Absolutely brilliant film. I believe Henry Cavill is now playing Connor MacLeod. I believe that's the right name. It's so long since I've seen that film, but it's absolutely brilliant. Anyway, just a complete aside whilst I'm here, and it delayed me getting here to the Quiraing, but complete aside, I'm really looking forward to the new series. Let's get back to photography. I'm on the way down now, and I'm on the way to the fallen tree. So I've captured a few images. The sun was just capturing one of the mountains lower down with some beautiful clouds above it. So that'll be in the final gallery for sure. And then I'm just going to go down and make my way to this tree in the little valley. And then I think we'll call it a day, because it's freezing this morning. Absolutely freezing. There's a few people just taking some photographs, so I'm just going to be patient and wait for them to take that. They're on a workshop from the US, which is fantastic. What a great location to come to. Right, I'm going to get set up and I'll show you my composition with this tree, and then we'll do the final gallery. So I'm down in the little ravine now where the tree is. Let me spin you around. I'll show you the compositional challenges here. So here we've got the tree. We've got the two lakes and the horizon, and then the hills in the background. What we've got to do, I've got my 10-18 on for this. What we need to be really careful of is that the branches of the tree don't intersect with the lake, because that'll just trash the composition or block the lake out completely. Also, this is April, so there's no leaves on the tree whatsoever. I'd love to come back in the height of summer, but this place is going to be absolutely rammed and full of midges. So I'll probably leave it until the autumn, and hopefully then there'll be a little bit more greenery on. Right, let's capture some images. That little tree was absolutely amazing. So I'm on my way back now. I think that's a wrap for this quick video. Hope you've enjoyed the 4 locations that I've covered today. Let me know if you've got any questions on any of the locations in terms of best time to go, conditions, all that kind of great stuff. Enjoy this final gallery, and until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.
The landscape here is amazing, and this image shows the key features to the left of the hilltop before sunrise, and this shows the trail as a leading line to the formation known as the prison or the castle at the edge of the valley. And here we have the view of the lakes and ridgeline to the right, showing the scale of the landscape for photography before us. Finally, the sun began to rise, creating some subtle colour in the clouds. It wasn't the best direct sunrise, but that's another reason to return. But it did begin to illuminate the ridgeline and mountains behind me with beautiful pastel shades and casting light onto some ridges and leaving others in shadow. This gave me the opportunity to zoom in on some of the shadow play and lighting created. And on the way back, I captured a couple of images of the infamous tree. Here the composition really picks out the tree against the background in vertical mode, and here in horizontal mode, it also sets it within the wider landscape, although there were no leaves on it when I visited. And again, another reason to return to this stunning location.
Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also check out these videos next. Thank you very much for your time in watching this video, and remember to pick up that camera, get out and get some practice. That is what photography is all about. And until next time, thank you and see you soon.